Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7 out today. Got some more update content for you guys. Now this time around, we're going to be diving into the controversies surrounding this new system called the Imprint Circuit, or what I like to call it, the Imprint Circus. Now, to access the Imprint Circuit, you need to be account rank 70, and then by maxing out your EXP, you actually get to upgrade your account to an S rank. If I can even click on my account here, you get the S ranks. Now, the cap for the S ranks is going to be level 20 here, and once you get to S rank 1, you unlock this this feature, we'll call it. Now, in this feature, you can see that you can upgrade these nodes, and they would give your units these stats. Now, these stat increases are going to affect the base stat of the unit, not a just plus 10 defense on top of your stats, right? And you can apply these stat increases to 5 units of your choice. And while on paper that sounds pretty cool, you quickly start to realize that this kind of stuff can get out of hand. But before we talk about all that, let's see a little word from the developers as to how they plan this feature out. This is taken straight from their New Era Showcase stream that they did that we reacted to live, and he's saying that this growth update is meant to be a feature that's implemented to stabilize progression pace, right? And he's saying that the feature is actually not meant to be pay to win. It's essentially, they're not designed to push spending, right? You don't need to pay money to access this feature, which is technically true, but we'll get into that in just a second, right? And they're saying that even the stat increases from these nodes are being balanced so that they have a minimal impact on World Arena. Okay, just putting this out there, this is the key highlight here, that they will have a minimal impact on World Arena. And so jumping back here to these nodes, right, we are gonna take a look at what this actually means. Now, obviously I haven't accessed most of these nodes here yet, but we'll see some examples of people who have. The problem is you have these things that increase base stats. If you're a newer player, you don't understand how base stats work versus like additional stats, right? The base stat of your unit, if you have a unit that is completely ungeared, right, these are their base stats, okay? By increasing base stats, you will be increasing the amount of stats that you get proportional to the gears that you put onto your unit. So, for example, my Aki here has an attack necklace, has an attack ring, right? And they give a percentage here, the 65%. This 65% is based on your base stat. So if I were to increase my base stat, then you actually get more value from these percentage stats on top of it because it scales from the base stat lines. Now, this can prove to be quite an issue when you have so many stats that are being increased, right? Things like HP, defense, attack here, it's going to be wild. Things like crit damage actually don't scale like that, so that is kind of a silver lining here. But you're going to notice that we have these 4 nodes, right? On the north, south, east, west, all 4 cardinal directions, and these are the epic nodes. By building your way to the epic nodes, you get to have a really minimal impact effect, like increasing your final speed by 3. Which doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but just think about all the 330 plus speed Rinox and Rons that you can make from this. 3 speed makes a pretty big difference. That is not a base speed increase, it's a final speed increase. Let's throw that out there, okay? Speaking of final stat increases, how about increasing your critical hit damage cap by 50%? Currently, all units have a 350% crit damage cap. This raises it to 400%. So if you thought that fighting Genesis Raz or Notos was bad enough already, just wait until they hit you even harder with 50% more critical hit damage, right? That's not it though, guys. That is not it. Because what if you're a takedown player and you just want 5% damage reduction just across the board whenever you're attacked? You thought fighting Ruel was hard enough with her damage limit buffs and her invincibilities and full HP revives that she also puts on herself, by the way. Yeah, how about a 5% damage reduction across the board? Try to fight a boss Arunca that has like 4,000 oh, you didn't think Boss Room can get 4,000 defense? We'll get to that in just a second too. Just hold on to your horses here, guys. The last note here, by the way, is SmileGate just blatantly telling you that we know that RNG sucks. But you know what you can do? You can get this node that, and it seems weird on paper, right? The maximum applicable effectiveness cannot exceed 90%. This is 15% RNG. Currently, by default, the game is set so that your maximum applicable effectiveness cannot exceed 85%. So there's always a 15% chance for the opponent to resist some sort of effect. They call it officially absolute resistance in the game. The community calls it 15% because it's a 15% chance for anything to resist anything. They're lowering that to 10% here, right? A 90% chance to land everything. And so, yeah, think about putting Witch of the Mirror Tenebria into this thing, right? You only have a 10% chance to resist her. She can't Soulburn ignore res, only a 10% chance. This is absolutely insane. But you might think 10% from 15%, that's not a huge deal. Oh, it very much is. 15% is about a 1 in 7 chance of something happening. 10% obviously is 1 in 10 chance of something happening. That is significant odds that are being increased here. These epic nodes are very, very dangerous, but these base stats, guys, these base stats that you can get are even more so. Let's go ahead and take a look then at some base stat increases that might affect some of your favorite units that are out there. By favorite units, I mean the units that you might see all the time. How about a Boss Arunca, guys? Pretty, tame Boss Arunca, right? Counter set, immunity, pretty standard stuff, right? SSS imprint, whatever, right? Some whale has this, and oh, what is that? 4,367 defense on 20k HP and 100 resistance. That is an insane amount of defense on a rocket punch gauntlet. This thing is probably gonna one-shot Freerins if she touches her, right? Okay, well, maybe it's not that bad. That's just like the tank node, right? There's probably, on top of this, they get 5% damage reduction. How much worse can it be, right? So let's go ahead and take a look then at this right here. So this guy actually compiled this Redder King 7. He also has like content that he makes and stuff. But giving credit to his builds here, he's showing a before and after of the Imprint Circus here, right? So let's go ahead and take a look. This Huayang is the before, right? Let's go ahead and zoom in here. This is the before for the Huayang. Pretty standard Huayang that you can make nowadays, right? 300 speed Huayang here, 4,600 attack. Afterwards, 5,300 attack with pretty decent bulk, keeping that 300 speed. Absolutely ridiculous. Look at how much stats this unit just got. This Huayang just went from 4,650 up to 5,370, right? That is a huge jump of 700 attack, which is ridiculous. Let's go look at another unit, guys. Let's look at Remnant Violet, right? This is, you look at the damage, you're like, oh, 260 crit damage, like, 3,600 attack, not that bad. At 290 speed, okay, well, this guy is gonna get almost 4,200 attack right there. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You're literally gaining, what, over 500 attack just from this. That is insane. How about Commander Pavel? Let's just talk about some cleave units here. Commander Pavel, right? This is a triple torrent Pavel, already insane damage with 5,300 attack, 330 crit damage. But how about we just jack that up to 6,000 attack, because with 320 crit damage now, by the way, the crit damage also went up because of the nodes, right? 3% here, 2% here, 2% here, whatever. That is a 700 attack increase in Commander Pavel. Imagine fighting this in RTA. There's no shot There's no shot of winning against this thing. How about just a meme unit? We know King 7 loves the Mighty Scout. Look at the Mighty Scout here, right? This little boy, 305 speed, okay? Boom. Just ridiculous. 3,400. This is increasing a 2-star fodder unit, by the way, by up to 500 attack. Why is this allowed? Why is this feature being implemented, right? Oh, Gunther, by the way. This one's crazy. I saw someone post this in my Discord server as well. Typical Gunther stuff. You can do this, right? This is attack set stacking, triple attack set stuff on the main stats on the side, right? Attack percent, attack percent, attack percent. Okay. How about seeing an 11,000 attack Gunther? Now, is Gunther going to be the most meta unit? No, but this is just to show you what is possible. Now, this is just non-meta stuff, like Gunther, like the Mighty Scout, right? Commander Pavel is used in Cleave, very scary. Remnant Violet, not the most meta unit here, right? Hua Young, also not the most meta unit here. But can you imagine just Bossarunka, the Ruels out there, the units that you're already fighting in RTA, right? The most meta things. Imagine Empyrean Ilanov with a 5% damage reduction with increases to her base stats. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. Imagine Genesis Raz with 350 crit damage, for example, right? Just imagine Notos, who already has insane stats. Just building even more speed because you're getting free bulk, right? 300 or 200% crit damage gets doubled with his ability, right? Because you get to double his stats here with his what is it, skill 3, right? Entering the sanctuary battle and all that stuff, and just by his passive he doubles all of his stats. This guy is gonna be ridiculous. You're gonna get 400 crit damage on this guy for what? 200%, just 200% of his stats. This thing is gonna be insane. Just think about all the meta units you're already fighting. Again, Ruel of Light, gonna mention her. A little shout out to Ruel of Light here, right? A little shout out to Ruel. Already a really insanely bulky unit. 5% damage reduction, make her impossible to kill with Prophetic Candlestick, right? You're gonna have your Bossarunkas getting picked. You're gonna have your Rinox getting picked, for example. And this is honestly just going to create an even bigger gap between players. And while it isn't directly a pay-to-win system, it indirectly sort of actually is, because this system would be available to everyone in playing like RTA, anyone playing Arena, anyone playing Guild Wars. Let's talk about Guild Wars for a second here, right? When you go to your guild and you go to your Guild Wars and you're doing your guild fights, right? You get to reset your nodes, okay? So when you come in here, you get to actually reset your nodes when you fight new towers. Now, there's 3 fights that you can do in every Guild Wars, right? You get to come in here and do your 3 attacks, right? Just don't mind my failures of attacks, because I'm bad at Guild Wars. Let's go back to the Imprint Circuit. You can reset your imprints, by the way. You can actually change the heroes that you're deploying in this. So when you come here, I don't have any active nodes, but it only takes 500,000 gold. It only takes 500,000 gold to reset the imprints. And so you could, after every single Guild War fight, right, you're going to put 5 units in here, probably the 5 units that you're going to use. You can bring 6 units into each Guild War, right? 3 for each team for 2 battles. You're probably going to put all your heroes in here, deployed with extra stats. You're going to go into those fights. After each fight, you're going to reset your node. And then boom, off to the next one. That is going to be absolutely insane, because that's what, 1.5 mil gold for each Guild Wars across 3 Guild Wars. That's 4.5 mil gold. And while gold is kind of an abundant currency, for new players, maybe not as much, right? For anyone who's been playing for a while who is a spender, you will have a lot of these resources to just burn through. It's also going to be tedious. This is going to be incredibly tedious. I can't imagine that Guild War players are going to be very happy about this change, having to come in here and min-max optimize every single attack. Is this what we wanted when we said we wanted PvP to be a bit more strategic? Not really. But hey, minimal impacts to RTA, by the way. I just want you guys to remember what the devs said. The devs said that this stuff will have minimal impacts to World Arena. Minimal. And we're staring down the barrel of 400 crit damage units. We're staring down the barrel of 330 plus speed units. People have already had like 330 plus Rinox and stuff like that. We're looking at getting rid of 15%, which, with all the controversies of 15%, allowing some people to decrease the chance. This also just goes to show that SmileGate can easily get rid of 15% in PvE, but they choose not to, which is another talking point for another video, I guess, at another time. And yeah, just saying, hey, you know those units that are super tanky, those light knights you hate fighting? How about you fight them for a little bit longer, just 5% longer, just struggle even more. This feature is honestly terrible, in my opinion. When I first reacted to this on stream, I compared this to the Awaken Potential update that they tried to implement a few years ago, which got them actually trucked. People were paying for trucks with giant banners and stuff, just, you know, taking a dump on the company of SmileGate, telling them that the Awaken Potential was garbage and no one wanted it. They walked that update back, actually. They never actually implemented it. They walked it back, and this seems like their second attempt to create something of the sort. And while they have the claims of it's not going to be pay to win, everyone has access to this, it's going to exacerbate the problem that we have of a lame meta in RTA. It's going to exacerbate the problems of everyone seeing the same 10 units being used everywhere, because this is not just going to be 5 units, by the way. They've announced that in the later half of 2026 that they will be implementing another one of these nodes, so you can have 5 more units that you can put into these, right? And they're going to also have like other effects with other nodes and other epic abilities. This doesn't seem like a good idea, guys, for the health of the game. I don't know what SmileGate was thinking about this when they made this. And on top of that, I mean, this is the most egregious thing that they've done, but like on top of that, some of you guys wanted me to talk about the Milestone of Radiance as well, so we'll briefly touch on this. In the Milestone of Radiance, in here, where you can get these rewards, such as summoning for Covenant Heroes, keep in mind that when you summon a dupe, they don't tell you this, but when you summon a dupe, you will not get to keep the dupe. You do not get to keep a copy of the dupe unit. You don't get to keep it to build another copy of. You don't need to keep it to imprint an existing unit that you might already have. When you get this, you will get 100 coins for a Covenant hero. Just 100 coins. So that means there's a 90% chance, if I own all the Covenant heroes, there's a 90% chance I'm getting 100 coins, and a 10% chance I'm getting 120 coins. That's messed up. That's messed up that they're not giving us these units, because the whole point of getting dupes is to get imprints, right? That's why we don't mind getting dupes in this game. They're useful, and imprints actually play a huge role in your unit's stat lines, right? For example, if we're going to like just the Spirit Eye Celine here, getting 18% crit rate on a DPS unit, massive difference. Makes a huge difference in your build. You can build so much more speed and other stats like your damage that you probably couldn't have done before, right? Getting imprints for units like, let's go back to Ruel or something here, right? Just getting imprints for things like HP, bulking up your units. Huge difference. If I got Destina and I wanted to bulk up my Ruel, I can't do that because I already own Destina, and it'll count as a dupe. So I honestly don't know how they could mess up a super hyped up update like this. We were on stream reacting to all this too, and it is just super lame how they implemented this. Hopefully they'll go back and they'll refund everybody their units that they pulled from this, because otherwise this sucks. Oh, let's talk about the 5-star Moonlight characters that you can get too. When you get a 5-star Moonlight character from this, it's random for me because I'm a veteran player here, been playing for a while. We get the big middle finger, because if you own that ML5, you do not get a dupe. You do not get to imprint with it. You get 500 coins. You get 500 of these glory coins, which you can then use in the glory shop here to purchase things, which I think is an absolute scam. Again, this is something that was this was something that was not clearly communicated at all when we were reacting to the stream. Everyone was completely blindsided by this, right? I was in Tristan Wolf's stream earlier today too, and he was talking about this. Him completely blindsided. I'm Sue, right? Another fellow creator of mine, completely blindsided by this. I woke up and I had people just messaging me, friends who play in real life, and then people in my Discord server just messaging going like, what is going on here? This is ridiculous. And I think it is too. So yeah, this is my official feedback to SmileGate. I will leave a link down below for you guys to provide your feedback as well. Please make sure to keep that feedback civil. Please make sure to provide insight into what you want them to do to fix this issue. Don't just spam them, right? That is not something that we should be doing. SmileGate is one of the best companies I've ever had the pleasure of playing a game that they've made that actually reacts to the community input and actually implements changes, right? So because the community is basically so united, Stove and Reddit are all blowing up, and this is one of the few times I'm actually siding with Reddit and Stove here about these changes. They're terrible. My personal opinion, my personal feedback to this is get rid of this. Because if you were to put this in PvP, it's going to destroy the entire balance of PvP. Guild Wars are going to be tedious. RTA is going to be super affected. The fact that they are not allowing this in their E7 Masters tournament, the fact that they're not going to be allowing this in those official PvP tournaments that they're hosting, is telling us that this is way more impactful than they're letting off. And the fact that these nodes are so insanely broken is something that they should remove. At least remove the epic nodes, right? If they need an immediate fix, remove these epic nodes for sure. Remove all of them. They do not need to belong here. And these stat lines too, these stat changes affecting base stats is insane. One thing they could do to remedy this, and I like this idea that Tristan Wolf put out there that I think should have been implemented from the start, is kind of like what they did with the Awaken Potential update. They should make these only available to certain units. That means you can't put this stuff on Boss Arunca, you can't put this on Ruel, on Rinok, on all the other meta units that are currently out there. Let people put underperforming units that they might like or enjoy on the side. Let people put in their random Guard Captain Krauls. Let people put in their random Fire Charlottes or other, favorite units of theirs in here, right? Like a Fern, if she's underperforming in RTA, right? Let people put a Fern in here or something and just have a good time with these other units. That's the only way I can see that this can be remotely balanced. But then comes the issue of when balance adjustments come out and units went from non-meta to viable in the meta, like do they get taken off the list and then people have to adjust their builds and everything? It's going to be an absolute nightmare. I do not think this is a good idea. The best course of action I think that SmileGate can do is literally remove this system, because I feel like we were lied to in terms of this having a minimal impact on the game. If it actually truly did have a minimal impact and you were able to, if I was able to come in here and just make my Charles goated for no reason, all the power to me, right? If you want to get a pocket pick in here, just make them absolutely insane, I think that would be fun. But as it is right now, I don't like it. So please go to the link down below. Make sure you leave some constructive criticism for SmileGate, letting them know what you want to see changed. You might have a different opinion than me. Maybe you even like this system, right? In which case, give them a little thumbs up, I guess. But I think most players agree that this is not great, and we don't want any part of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.